The Supreme Court issued an unexpected ruling yesterday in a case involving black voters in Alabama. The mostly conservative court ruled 5-4 that the current Republican-drawn congressional districts in Alabama likely violate the Voting Rights Act by not fairly representing black voters. The state legislature will have to redraw the districts before next year's election. Joining us now to discuss this surprising turn of events is CBS News election law expert David Becker. David, good to see you this morning. So explain to our viewers, why was the state's congressional map so controversial in the first place?
Well, the Republican-led legislature in Alabama had drawn the districts, the 7 districts in the congressional map in Alabama, to include only one district in which black voters could meaningfully participate, in other words, to elect candidates that they chose. And that was a little unusual here, where black voters proved, in a state with 27% black voters, that they were entitled to more than one, likely 2 districts. And the lower court agreed with them. And in a state like Alabama, where we see what we call racially polarized voting, in other words, whites vote in such a way as to defeat black candidates of choice, it was determined that, indeed, black voters were entitled to that additional district. And here the Supreme Court agreed with them.
So, David, the state legislature will have to redraw the maps going forward. However, the 2022 midterm elections, they're already in the books, so there's already been an implication in this case. In addition to the redrawing in Alabama, are there other broader implications in that state or nationally as a result of this ruling?
Yeah, one of the things that was really unexpected in this ruling is that we had seen this court erode and weaken and even eliminate some of the key provisions of the Voting Rights Act over the last decade. And this decision put an end to that. This decision clearly established that the Voting Rights Act was constitutional, and that affects many cases nationwide. There are cases going on in Georgia and Louisiana right now where it's likely additional black districts will have to be drawn. It could affect some districts in Texas where additional Hispanic districts could be drawn. But more importantly, this isn't so much about the politics. This is really about the minority voters who are protected under the Voting Rights Act. And this is a case coming from the state, of course, where Bloody Sunday occurred, where John Lewis was beaten on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in 1965.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it briefly, but it was surprising considering the makeup of the court. The 5-4 decision, the court is primarily conservative. Does this signal anything to you, David?
It's not clear exactly what it signals. I mean, there are institutionalists on the court, conservative institutionalists. Clearly, Chief Justice Roberts falls into that category. Justice Kavanaugh falls into that category. And I think after weakening the Voting Rights Act over time, they wanted to send a message here. They just applied the law that had existed for decades to a very strong fact pattern. And I think that's a really good thing in this case.
All right, David Becker for us. Thank you, David.
Thank you.